Hi everyone, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk, and I'm here with a project that I meant to do before I went away for Easter and I didn't. I had it all prepped. Look, here it is in 4 of the Gingham Gala colours. That one managed to get a little bit squished because it's been sat under things, but never mind. So I've made these 4 and I'm going to do another one in Highland Heather to show you how I made them, but I think they're really cute. I meant them to come out whilst I was away at Easter because I thought they were quite nice spring Easter colours and you could fill them with Easter eggs. But coming up in America is Mother's Day, so maybe they'd be a nice little Mother's Day treat, or any treat really. And if you notice that they've all got matching ribbon, and I've got some Highland Heather ribbon ready, and what I did was I simply used our Stampin' Right markers and our Whisper White sheer ribbon, and I just coloured them and left it to dry. If you use blends, you don't have to leave it to dry. It pretty much dries fairly instantly, but with these watercolour markers you have to give it a little bit of time. But how gorgeous! Ribbon in any colour that you want, that you've got pens for. I don't have enough blends, which is why I use the Stampin' Right markers. Anyway, I've used Pop Petal for the flower there, and I am using the little one of the Itty Bitty Blooms punches, the 1/2 inch circle punch, the punch to go with the Pop Petals, and then we're using the 1 1/4 inch circle punch and the 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch. We've got a little bit of the burlap white, Whisper White, not burlap, looks a bit like burlap, flax ribbon as well. Okay, so not a lot of resources are required to make this pretty little box. So let's get started. So it's made with a cardstock base, and then you have a DSP sort of wrap around it, so that the cardstock gives it a bit of stability to the base. And this measures 2 1/4 by 5 3/4, and this is 3 by 6. I will, as ever, have all the measurements over my blog, nigezza.co.uk. So you don't have to worry about writing anything down. So on the long side here, we're going to score at 1 1/2, 2 3/4, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. And then we're going to swizzle it around, and we're going to score at 1 1/4. So you've got, should be 1 1/4. I've not scored it right. 1 1/4. Oh, I slipped. 1 1/4. I was too busy looking at my measurements to notice that I scored that wrong. There we go. 1 1/4. So what you've got is a side here that's 1 1/4 and a side here that is just 1 inch, and it's the inch bit up that is your box side. Then I went and folded it on the wrong one. Do you know? Some days I haven't crafted for about 2 weeks, so that's my excuse. Okay. So there we have 1 inch, and underneath we have 1 1/4, and we'll just ignore the fact that I misscored. Doesn't matter. Going on the bottom, you won't notice. So there we go. We shall fold and burnish all those sides. I might just give a little bit of a rub where that was wrongly scored. Nobody will ever know unless they've watched the video. And then we are going to cut, oops, bring in some random piece of card. So we're going to cut up all of these rectangles, well, lines, up to the score line. And this last little sliver of a rectangle there, we're going to cut off and we're going to notch in. So I'm going to notch in this flap. So I'm making basically a shallow box. I'm going to notch in that one and notch in that one, leaving these straight edges straight. Just left a little bit too much of the scored edge on there. Get it off. There we go. So just a little bit rusty. Then we're going to glue these edges. We're just going to miter that edge there as well. So put a little bit of Tombow along there. Fold the edge over there. And then we're going to fold in. I like to sandwich the flaps so you can't see them. Fold that one in and that one in. And then fold that one over. And then you get a nice little finish on the bottom. I just like it that way. So when you look down, you can't see any little flaps. There we go. And we've got a little bit of a ridge there from where I scored it incorrectly. But I'm sure nobody's going to look at the bottom and go, "Ugh, that one's all right, but you scored wrongly there." Because if you give this away, they're not going to see the others, are they? And you can just say, that was just a bit of decorative pattern that I put on. So that is our little rectangle box there. And then we take our, looks slightly squiff there. Mine's just fine. Then we take, I'm just going to put the edge of my bone folder down there and pull it up. I want to give a little bit of a curve. Now some of these I've done so you can see the big gingham on the outside, as I've done with those two, and these two I did with the little gingham. Hadn't given any thought to this, that's just the way I've done it now. I've done it so that it's going to be the little gingham. And this is going to get stuck around the edges of this. So we're going to put a bit of glue on the box. So I'm going to do this side first because that's where it's folded over and that's where the meeting is. So that is where I want it to be, the back. So we're going to grab this somewhere around the middle and we'll just stick it down. Making sure it's flush there. I like Tombow because it does dry nice and quick. And then put a bit more on that side and carry on folding it around. And then we'll put it on this side. And fold that around. And then these are going to go there, whichever is mostly in the middle. Pretty good match actually. So we're going to go and do a little bead up the edge of that. So we'll fold that one in, and then fold that one in, and then make sure it's going up the edges. You can kind of see, because it's gingham, you can follow the straight line there. And that is the basic construction there. And then I'm taking my half circle punch and I'm going to create the holes, and what I'm doing is putting it down as far as it will go and eyeball it so it's in the middle here, just sort of centre it, and then we'll do the same at the back. Eyeball it so it's kind of in the centre of these 2 points at the bottom, and that's that. You can save those for something else, and that is got them at the right place. And then we're going to do the decoration on the front, so we're going to do a little bit of stamping for that. So I've got some scrap of Whisper White, I've got my popper petal already mounted. I haven't got my Highland Heather ink. Great, it's there on my desk. There we go. And I am just going to stamp that on there. I've got a mark on it so that I know, I've got a mark on my punch there so that I know that this is the correct way to line up my punch. I did do a whole video about this. You can look back and see that. I think other people have done it as well. So that's that. Then I want a 1/4 inch circle. I want a 1/2 inch circle, which I was just using my 1/2 inch punch a second ago. There it is. And then I want a little flower cut out of some Gingham Gala. Let me get a scrap of Gingham Gala. So I cut a cat out, look. There we go. And we're just going to stick those together. Now I'm just going to curl my flowers a bit to give them some life. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to curl up the edges. That is going to get, I've missed something. I've missed a scallop circle in Highland Heather. Give a scrap of, you can tell I haven't crafted, well actually you're probably sitting thinking, I'm using the excuse that I haven't crafted for a month, but you're all sitting there thinking, actually Jez, you're always like this. You always forget something. There we go. Oh, didn't do that one very well. Less haste, more speed. There we are, that's basically, I made that one wrong. So let's stick these down. So blobber that on the back there and stick it in the centre of that circle there, and then stick that in the middle of my scallop circle punch, It lines up beautifully, gives you just a pop of colour to mat it so it doesn't get lost on there. And then you could leave it like that, you could put a little gem in it, but I decided to decorate it. Can't see a little Gingham Gala flower now. I'll cut another one. It's probably fallen on the floor somewhere. Oh, we'll get another one. So I'm going to put a blob in the middle there. That is quite pretty as it is. You could put wing Castella on there, a gem, whatever. And then just to make it a little bit extra special, I'm taking our Gingham Gala sequins and I'm just going to stick a flower one in the middle of that flower. Put that away properly after, and then that's going to get stuck in the middle of there. And that just gives it a flower centre that's just a little bit special for your special little treat, which could hold a little bit of jewellery. Put dimensional there. It could be a little sweet treat. Could be some money. And then that's going to go on the front there, like so. And then we just need a little bit of flax ribbon. So I think I cut about 4 inches. Yeah, 4 or 5 inches is what I cut. So just put that on my grid mat, got to the 5 inches, kind of cut that the same. How we did it, and then I'm going to poke that through the hole and out the other end. Obviously you'd put your little gift in, whatever, pull them up together, and then I did use a little glue dot to hold the ribbon together. Because that just helps when it comes to tying the bow. Gives it a little bit more security. And then my little strip of ribbon that I have already coloured. I've done those two, I tied a knot, and these two I tied bows. So it's whichever is your preference. Gonna go for a bow, I think. I think my hands have recovered enough to cope with a bow. Yep. And then you can just snip them so they're a little bit all pretty at the end there. And that's it. Quite quick, quite simple, and quite lovely. How spring-like is that? So lovely. Hope you liked it. Pop over to my blog, nigezza.co.uk, and you can see all the measurements there and some close-up pictures, and there'll be links to my shop if you want to buy any of these lovely products even. This is a project. They are products. Okay, see you again soon. Bye-bye.